Howdy, this is Mr. Norman. This was a 41 question, actually I think it was 40 question Winter Diagnostic. I'm not going to go through all 40 questions, I'm only going to go through 25. And the answer sheet that I give you, I don't think I'm going to give you all 25 questions to answer. That might take you a little bit of time. I might give you between 15 and 20 to do. So, you're watching this to see not just what the answers are so that you can turn it in with a perfect score, because I will be giving you the answers. More importantly, not what the answers are, but how do we get the answers? That's what's important. So, some of these will be fast, some of these I'm going to have to slow down and take my time, but the goal is to finish in less than 40 minutes, hopefully less than 30 minutes, so that you can have a little bit of extra wiggle room to put the answers in and do it in less than one period, okay? So, the first question. Um, this is, now the challenge is going to be I'm going to do my best to match the questions. This is the first question I'm going over with you, but what does that say? That does not say question number 1, that says question number 2. So I'm probably going to match the questions to the test. So if I skip number 3 and then I go to number 4, although that would be the second question, I would have that as number 4. So right now this is going to be question number 2, okay? First question, but it's going to be question number 2. All that are equivalent to 4 to the third power. That is not This does not equal 12. It's easy to think that because it does involve multiplication. But it's not 4 times 3. It's 4 times 4 times 4, which is not 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. But 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. Okay? So this works. Let's call this A, B, C, D, E, and F. So B works, D works, and this is the exact same thing. You can multiply 4 times 4 to get 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So those are the 3 correct answers. Next, number 3. Jane babysits for $8 per hour. Oh, that's a unit rate because it says per. She earned $240 last week. How many hours does she work? Basically, all you're doing is solving this. This is a one-step equation. What's the goal? To get the variable by itself. What side is the variable on? It's on the left side. How do we get the variable by itself? Do the opposite of what we see to both sides. So what do I see when I see 8h? That's h times 8. What's the opposite of times 8? It's dividing by 8. So all I have to do is take 240 divided by 8. And when I do that, I get 30 as my answer. Now, how do we put that in here? For you, it's going to be fill in the blank, but for me, you have 2 choices. Do it like this. You can do it all the way to the left, or you can do it all the way to the right. You can do one or the other. You cannot put it in the middle. If you put it in the middle, it's going to be wrong. It's either all the way to the left or all the way to the right. The answer is 30. Number 4. Which question represents 7 more than x? Now, more than, is that addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Definitely addition. Okay, the answer is that right there. That's the answer. Next. Number 5. 3 boys for every 4 girls in a group. Looks like a ratio, doesn't it? If there are 20 girls, how many students in all went on the field trips? Now, if you missed this, I can see you possibly missing it because you realize, wait a second, I think I recognize this. I know that 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15. So 15 is my answer. And if you do that, you just missed it because the question does not say how many boys went, even though it is 15 boys. It's how many students in all. So once you do need the 15. But once you find the 15, you have to combine it with the 20 girls. And 20 plus 15 is 35. And so this answer is 35 students. That's the answer. 35. Number 7, I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to skip number 6. I'm going to go straight to number 7. I'm going to go back to blue. All the situations that can be modeled by the expression 4 plus 3x. Okay, this is 4 plus, and remember, this is side by side. That's 3 times x, okay? So 4 more than 3 and a number. So let's do it this way. Let me put that up here. It's going to be A, B, C, D, and E, and E. Okay. 4 more than, now, when you see and, that refers to plus. So this is not the answer. 4 more than 3 times a number? Yes, that's correct. 4 more means you're going to add 4 to whatever you get. 3 times a number, there you go. The sum of 3 times a number, there's 3 times a number, and 4. That's the same thing. That works. That's the answer. What about D? Arrays. The sum, you're adding, of the product of 4, 3, and a number. So there's where the plus sign goes. That's not what we see, so that's not the answer. And what about E? The sum of 4 and, so that's a plus, the product of 3 and a number x. That's the also. So B, C, and E. These are your 3 answers, okay? Next, I hope you're learning. This isn't a stay busy and waste class time assignment. This is I want you to learn how to get the right answers assignment, okay? I'm going to skip ahead to number 10. Alicia, now, this technically is something that I would not expect you guys all to get right. But I'm going to go over it because I think all of you should have gotten this right, even though some of you missed it. How would I expect you to get this right? Well, you should remember how to find the area of a rectangle. I think we've covered that. We have covered that. It's this length times this width. So if this is 5 across and this is 10 across, multiply those two together, length times width, 5 times 10, and the area is 50. So for this rectangle, this is from 3 to 9. That's a length of 6, and from 3 to 15, that's 12. 6 times 12 is 72. So this rectangle right here has an area of 72 square units, okay? So obviously this is not the answer. That's too much. But notice this. The shape isn't like that. The shape is smaller. It's not a rectangle. It's one of these. So it's actually less than 72 inches, or 72 square units. So this is the wrong answer as well. So it's either A or B. And if you want to, you could have actually counted. Look at this. I want to switch colors. I want to show you something. 1 square unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 units. So 12 times 6 is 72. So we've already shown that it's smaller than 72. 72 would be if it went all the way across, but it doesn't. It's not a rectangle. But if it was, it would be 72. And I just counted 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 units that are not included in the actual thing. So it's definitely smaller than 59, which means this is too much. This is the only thing it could be. Now, there is an exact way to get it. The exact way is you have to understand how do you find the area of a triangle. Let me see if I can make that clear. Let's say this is 3 and this is, let's go 6, okay? What's the area of this rectangle? Well, it's 3 times 6. 18, duh, right? Now, watch this. What if I cut it in half? What's the area of this shaded part right here? Well, it's 18 cut in half. 18 divided by 2 is 9. What's the area of this shaded part in blue? Well, it's exactly the same thing. It's also 9. And 9 plus 9 is 18, which is the total area of the rectangle. Now, why am I telling you that? Because the area of a triangle, the formula is length times width divided by 2. Now, why is that important? Because notice this shape right here. That's a triangle. It's 3 up, it's 12 across. 3 times 12 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. That has an area, this blue thing has an area of 18 square units. Now look at this rectangle right here. 12 across, 3 up. 12 times 3 is 36. So now if the green is 36 and the blue is 18, what would I do with these two numbers? I would add them to get 54. That's the other way that you can get the correct answer, okay? We're making pretty good time. Those are two possible ways, probably the two best ways to get the correct answer. Now we're going to jump to number 11. Number 11. Yeah, am I really doing this? I almost skipped this because this one's so complicated. So they want to know what must be the value in the box. Okay? Here's what you're going to need to do. It says equivalent. That means equal. They want this to be equal to this. So the best way to solve this is to distribute. 2 times 6x is 12x. 2 times 7 is 14. Don't forget to bring the plus down. So we want what's on the left to equal 12x plus 14. Okay? And notice, there's a 4x, and this is going to be a number that you're going to multiply times 2x. So where am I going with this? You're going to take 4x, and I'm going to highlight. You see how it's a minus, but it's minus 2? And what that means is it's going to be 4x plus this number times 2x. So I'm going to add whatever that number is that I have to find. I'm going to multiply it times 2x, and I'm going to add to 4x. So how is that helpful? Well, watch this. If this is a 1, and I do 1 times 2x, I get 2x, right? Well, I've already got 4x plus this, and I need both of these to add up to equal 12x. So does 4x plus 2x equal 12x? Well, the answer is no. So let's try that again. So I'm thinking, what can I multiply so that when I add 4x, I get 12x? Well, what if it was a 3? 3 times 2x is 6x. Does 6 plus 4 equal 10 or equal 12? No. So let me try again. Let me try 4. 4 times 2x is 8x. Does 4x plus 8x equal 12x? Absolutely. So I think that's my answer. But now let me do the rest just to make sure it works, okay? So 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 4 is 16. Bring my plus down. And I have 4x minus 2 plus 8x equals 16. Well, 4x plus 8x is 12x. And then when I subtract 2 and I add 16, that's like adding 14, which is exactly what I see right here. So what's the value? It has to be a 4. And that's the answer. Okay? That is the answer. Now, I might not be having you answer all the questions that I'm going over on the answer sheet. I might be cutting it down, but I will be going over every question that you should have been able to answer. That was number 11. We're skipping number 12. And then we're going to go straight to number 13. Okay. Every 10 laps she swims, Yesenia, I had a student named Yesenia a few years ago. She swims, that's a backstroke. She swims 15 laps freestyle. Which ratio shows the number of laps she swims backstroke to? Oh, look, there's a 2. That's a ratio to the number of things freestyle. So I have the order right. B at the top, backstroke at the top, freestyle at the bottom. But I don't see 10 to 15. Why? Did I mess up? I did not. But what do you notice about those two numbers? They can be simplified. What are the factors of 10? 1 times 10, 2 times 5. Does 10 go into 15? No. Does 5 go into 15? Yes. So this 5 is considered the greatest common factor. So when I divide the top and bottom by the greatest common factor, I get 2 over 3. And that's why A is the answer for number 13. Number 14. 14 minutes in, number 14. This is really good progress. If I can do one question a minute, I'll be done in less than 12 minutes. All right, guys, number 14. Maybe a little bit longer than that. This actually isn't question number 14. I just realized this is 2, 4, 6, 8. This is the 10th question, so it's a little bit bigger average, and talking right now does not help. Number 14. Same value as this for all values of x. Okay, well, let me see. There's 4 answers, so only one is going to be right. Let me distribute. That's 12x. 3 times 9 is 27. Bring the plus down. And I already have the plus 6. So now, combine like terms. Can I take 12x plus 27? I can't. Because Oh, you can't add a number with a variable to a number without, but I can combine these two. Those are both like terms. You add it to get 33, and you keep the 12x as it is, which is, wait a second, where did I mess up? Oh, wow, I wrote that down completely wrong, didn't I? I apologize. Did not see that as an answer. Here's what I did wrong. It's not minus 6, it's minus 6x. So I can combine these. They both have a variable. 12x minus 6x is 6x. I'm going to keep the plus 27, and that's why D is the answer. I'm going to go straight to number 17. What is the smallest positive number that can be added to 55 so that the resulting number and 45 have 9 as the greatest common factor? Well, if I add 5 to this, I get 60. Is 9 a factor of 60? No, it's not. So what about 8? If I add 8 to 55, I get 63. Is 9 a factor of 63? Yes. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 5 is 45. So 9 is the greatest common factor of these two numbers. So the answer is 8. Okay? I hope that made sense. That's kind of a think outside the box question, which is kind of hard to understand, but the answer is 8. I just proved it. That was number 17. I'm going to go straight to number 20 now. Okay, what will make the equalities true or false? All right, well, there's 4 different ones to do. So if I put a 3 here, 3 plus 2 is 5. Is 5 greater than 8? No, that's false. I'm probably not going to do this one on the thing because it can be confusing. 7.1 plus 2. Some of you would do it like this, and that's wrong. The 2 has to be here and make it 2.0. That's 9.1. That's greater than 5.8. That is true. 19 over 5. Ooh, that's tricky. I don't know what that is as a decimal. So I'm going to convert it to a decimal. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract decimal 0, bring it down. 5 goes, that's 3.8. And 3.8 plus 2 is 5.8. Is that greater than 5.8? No. 5.8 is not greater, so that's false. If it was greater than or equal to, then it would be true. But we don't see that line under it, so we're going to keep it as it is. And 3 2/3 as a decimal is 3.6666. And if I add to that, I get 5.6666. And that is not greater than 5.8. Okay? The next question after number 20 is number 21. Which expression has a coefficient of 7? Class, this is really easy, but a lot of you probably missed it because I did not cover this term that much. A coefficient is the number next to a variable. Here it's 7 and 3. These are variables. These are coefficients because they're next to the variable. And remember, this is the exponent. So in our question, that's an exponent, that's a coefficient, and that's called a constant. A number by itself is called a constant. And it's definitely this. That's your coefficient. Constant, constant, coefficient. But the only coefficient that's a 7 is that right there, which is why number 21 is B. I hope that's helpful. You do need to know your terms, okay? 22. This table shows the varying cost for packages of juice. What's the cost per package of juice? Okay. Well, 5 times 2 is 10, 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so these are all the same equivalent ratios. All I need to do is divide to get the package. Okay, so per pack. So how do I do this? It's either going to be 2 divided by 5 or it's 5 divided by 2. Which one am I going to do? Well, there's the per, which really helps because cost comes first, package comes last. So I'm going to put the cost at the top. I'm going to put the package at the bottom. So I'm actually going to flip this. Package is $5 for 2 packages, and I'm just going to divide. And when I do that, so this is the right way. You're going to take 5 here. 2 goes into 5 twice. Sorry, you multiply, you get 4. Subtract, you get 1. Decimal, decimal, 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. And it's money. So it's not 2.5. It's 2.50. It's $2.50. And that's why this is the answer. Right here. $2.50 for number 22. Yeah, that's the answer. Number 23. I have a triangle on this. This is one of 2 questions that I'm not comfortable answering for you guys. Let me see why I put a triangle on this one. Oh, yeah. So this one, you guys, we haven't really covered this. At the same time, if something's on sale for $25 off, now if it was 25%, that's completely different. I wouldn't go over it because we haven't covered that yet. But $25 off means you're just, whatever the price is, you're just subtracting $25. And all of you should know that by now. This is, even though we haven't really covered this one I'm going over because you guys should have gotten C. That one's pretty easy. It's when it's a percent that's going to be confusing for some of you. Number 24. Okay. This one took me a while. I was really confused by this. But what's going on is there's only going to be one answer here, one answer here, and one answer here, class. Remember, independent on its own. Dependent depends upon something. The height of the tree is dependent on time. Time is never going to stop. And if time is a choice, time is always going to be independent. Time never stops. Nothing is ever dependent. Time is never dependent on anything. Time is always independent. So independent is going to be time. Your dependent is going to be the height. And you're taking time and you're adding 4. You're adding 4 to time, which is why the height is going to equal time plus 4. Those are your 3 answers for that one. Let me double check my work. The height is 7. Oh, sorry. If height is 7 and time is 3, yeah, that's the only one that's going to work. Yeah, that's the only one that works. Okay. What comes first? Time comes first, and then the height comes next. That one can be kind of tricky. That was 23. What about 25? I'm skipping 25. Go straight to 26. Okay, pretty basic. Okay, so you have rectangles of those 4 points. What's the length? What is the length of each of the longer sides of the rectangle? Well, that's weird. It should just be what's the length of the longer side of the rectangle. So -3, I'm going to have to switch to a little bit smaller, a little bit skinnier. No big deal. -3, no, always start here. First coordinate. That's 3 left. Remember, x, comma, y. The x goes this way or this way. The y goes up or down. How do you know which direction it goes? Well, if it's positive, see how these are positive and these are negative? Negative numbers go to the left for the x, and they go to the right for positive. For y, negative is down, positive is up. So since the first number is -3, that's to the left to -3. So to the left to here. And then it's -4, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I'm going to put -3, 1, 2, 3. That's going to be right there. I'm going to erase that. Okay. So I'm going to go blue the rest of the way. -3, 7. That's -3, and that's up to 7. That's right here. Always start at your origin. That's where you start. So for 12, -4, that's 12 positive. So that's 12 to the right because it's positive. Is that 4 up or 4 down? Because it's negative. It's going to be 4 down. Ooh, this is going to be, actually, are we ready for this? 12 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. Oh, wait, that's fine. Oh, okay, I thought it was going to be at an angle, but it's not. And then that's going to be directly over here. No big deal. Okay, well, obviously, these in the rectangle, these are the longer sides. What's the length of these sides? Well, it's 12 plus 1, 2, 3. That's 15. 3 plus 12 equals 15. That's the answer. There it is right there. All right, number 28. We'll skip ahead a couple. Next. Which inequalities correctly show the relationship between the numbers 13, -4, and -17? Well, remember, with negatives, so 13's here, -4 is about right here, -17's over here. Class, everything that goes in this direction is always bigger on the right. Right is always bigger than the numbers on the left. Keep that in mind, okay? So -13 is greater than -4, -4 is greater than -17. So where do I see that? 13 is greater than -17, that is correct. -4 is greater than -17, that's correct as well. I guess that's the answer. And then you look at the other ones, yeah, that's wrong, and that's wrong. So, that's also wrong. So, yeah, that's the answer, A. Pew! 29. Ooh, I know exactly what this one is. You know what? I'm just going to skip it. I hate this question. This is a terrible question. I don't even want to talk about it. The answer is this, and I really don't want to talk about it. I do not like that question at all. Number 30. Okay, value. So, PEMDAS, divide first and then add last. So I'll go over the division with you, okay? Now, since there's a decimal in the number on the outside, I need to move it over once to the right. So this is going to go over once to the right. It's going to go right here. I'm going to put it right here before I forget. So I'm going to erase that. I'm going to erase that. And now I'm ready to work. And that's a 2. So let me go this, and this, and this. 64 goes into 3. Nope, too big. 64 goes into 31. Nope, too big. 64 goes into 313. How many times? 6 times 5 is 30. I wonder what 64 times 5 is. 32. Ooh, just a little bit too much, so I'm going to go to 4. And that's going to be 6, 1, 24, 25. Is that right? 4, 6, 1, 24, 25, yeah. 256. Subtract. Make this a 10. Make this a 13. That becomes a 7, 5, and I had to borrow again, didn't I? And that becomes a 2. I suck at subtraction. And this is the answer. Yeah. So now I'm going to bring the 9 down. 64 goes into 579. 9 times 6 is 54. So let me do 64 times 9. 6, 3, now it's 6, 54, 5, 57, 576. Ooh, that's a good number. So I'm going to put a 9 here. I'm going to put 5, 7, 6 right here. God, this is a long problem. 3, bring the 2 down. And it goes into that 0 times. I'm going to add a 0, bring it down. And 64 goes into 320. I bet you it's 5. 0 to 32, and that's correct. So 49.05 is what I get when I divide. But I'm still not done. God, this is a lot. This is one that you should mark and do at the end if you have time, but it's taking a lot of time. Now, if you add 200.4 like this, you just missed it, because you have to line the decimals up just like that. So now we can add 5, 4, 9, 4, 2, decimal. That's your answer, 249.45. Boom, the end. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 2, 4. We only have 6 more. That's great. And I'm okay, good. I'm almost going to be right at the half an hour. That's 30. We can go straight to 31. Let me go to my favorite color, blue. Oh, where's 4, -5? Start here. 4 is on the X. This is the X. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 up or 5 down, because that's the Y axis. It's negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer is D. Boom. 33. So 33. This one looks really complicated, but it's not. So complete this statement. The best represents the different kinds of weather that he studied. Okay. In inches, the best representation for the size of raindrops. Look at this statement. Raindrops larger than 0.02 inches. Okay, so that means the raindrops are going to be bigger. It's going to be larger. It's going to be facing that way than 0.02. Obviously, that's A. Boop. So for this one, that's A for the first one. And then for hailstones, look right there. Hailstones are less than. So what are they using for hailstones? They're using H, okay? So the hailstones are less than 1/4 of an inch. So I'm looking for that down here, and there it is right there. So that's why those, I think it was larger. And so A and H, or yeah, A and H were the answers for that question. Okay? And that leaves us with 4 more to go. Number 35. 35. All the days that had a temperature that was less than 0 degrees and warmer than the temperature on Friday. So what was the temperature on Friday? So I need the temperatures to be larger than -5, but less than 0. So what are the numbers that are in between? Well, -4, -3, -2, and -1. So that's Sunday, Wednesday, and that's it. Sunday, my bad, and Wednesday. Those are the only 2 numbers that stay within the parameters. They're in between -5 and they're less than 0, okay? I hope that makes sense. And I don't see anything else. This is too cold, and the other ones are bigger than 0. All right, 35. Now I'm going to go to 37. Next. Question 37. Oof, what is this? Oh, thank goodness. Okay. She buys 16 pounds of dog food. She feeds each dog about 5/8 of a pound. How many dogs can she feed? Class, this is simple division. Well, I say simple. It's not that simple, to be honest with you, because you're doing this. And you will never see that. Oh, you know what? You don't set it up like that. It is division, but the better way to do this, y'all have a good weekend. Thank you. You like? Gracias. She said she liked my shirt. My shirt is beautiful. Just like me. Now, so why am I still single? I don't know. It's the mystery of all mysteries. Anyway, class, you are dividing fractions, but remember, we don't divide with mixed numbers. We have to convert it to an improper fraction. Starting here, remember the very first or second week of school, going around, 4 times 16 plus 1. That's how we're going to convert this. Let me move this over here. Let me move this over here. 16 times 4. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. That's 64 plus 1. That's 65 over, keep the 4 the same. Okay? So this is what I'm solving. And when you divide, we don't divide fractions. We keep, change, and flip. Now, I'm going to go 2 different directions with this, because some of you are going to want to solve this in 2 different ways. I'm going to multiply first and then simplify. And then I'm going to simplify first and then multiply. Okay, so let me do the multiplication first, because that's going to make it a little bit less messy. 65 times 8. I have absolutely no idea. 6 times 8 is 48 plus 4 is 52. That's 520 over 4 times 5 is 20. Now, I can simplify that. And I think 20 goes into both terms. So actually, let me get rid of the 0. You can simplify fractions. Just by, if they both end with 0, just do that. Piece of cake. Now, 2 goes into 52. 2 times 6. So that equals 26. That's the answer. Boom, right there. But I said I'm going to do this twice. So what's the other way? The other way is some people would say, you know what, I'm going to simplify this first. I see that 4 and the 8, and I can divide by 4 to get 1, divide by 4 to get 2. And I can also simplify by divide. See how they both end with 5? I can divide this by 5 to get 1, divide 65 by 5, and that's going to give me 13. 13. Now I can multiply last. 13 times 2 is 26. 1 times 1 is 1. 26 divided by 1 equals 26. 38. 2 more, guys. Almost done. 2 more. 8 math quizzes the teacher corrected in 16 minutes. Okay, not bad. At this rate, you see that word, you should set up a fraction. How many minutes will it take? How many minutes will it take to correct 64 quizzes? Oh, piece of cake. 8 times what is 64? Yep. So what do I do with this? I'm going to multiply it times 8. And the answer is whatever 16 times 8 is. Boom, there it is. 128. And number 40 is the last one. And then we're done. Okay? And then you can hit submit. Ooh, I'm probably not even going to give this one on the thing. Determine whether each number is located to the left or right of negative 2 1/5 on a horizontal number line. Yeah, this one can be tricky. This is actually really tricky. So here's 0. Here's negative 2 1/5, which is negative 2.2. So negative 2 1/10. You know what? I have a hard time with this. I know that 1/10, 10 goes into 1. Yeah, this is actually doing it right. 0, 0, 1. Decimal 0, 1. So that's negative 2. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. This is going to make it easier for you guys. Negative 2 is going to go here. That's negative 2.1. Negative 2.1 is going to be over here. So this is to the right. Negative 1 2/5 is obviously to the right as well. It's going to be somewhere over here. Negative 2 1/4 is negative 2.2. Remember, 1/4 is 1/4, which is 0.25. That's going to be on the left. And this is definitely going to be on the left. All right? And guess what? That's it. That one I might not have explained as well as I could. I was a little bit rushed. I'm sorry about that. That one's kind of tricky. I almost skipped it. Everything else, though, I think you guys should have understood and understood why I got the answers that I did. 37 minutes, a little bit longer than I wanted. I'm sorry about that. Hope this assignment was helpful for you to understand what the questions were for the ones that we should have gotten right. I'm probably going to do a separate one for bonus for the ones that we haven't covered yet, just to explain it for those who want to know. Have a good weekend. Well, it's my weekend coming up. I hope you have a good week. Last week of the quarter.